Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
It's just frustrating that these folks at Nashville aren't listening to anybody.
There's a lot of misrepresentation about this legislation.
More reaction tonight to a bill headed to Governor Bill Lee's desk that would allow Tennessee teachers to go armed at school.
Well, some mid-state school districts are already opting out. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from the state capitol tonight after speaking with folks from different school districts about this plan. Caitlin.
Megan, Scott, some state leaders or some people believe that our state leaders are not listening to Tennesseans, especially those impacted the most, like parents and teachers, while others believe that this will help the 500 plus public schools that don't currently have school resource officers.
There's still too many questions unanswered.
Bill West is a retired SRO and former president of the National Association of SROs. He's now the safety director of Cannon County Schools and does not think having teachers carry firearms on campus is a good thing.
If a teacher is armed and they have a classroom, are they going to leave that classroom to go after a gunman? What if they fail to respond at all?
And West explains that's in addition to managing 20 to 30 students.
You know, the training is what concerns me. So far, I really haven't seen anything that they would be required to be on the gun range regularly. It sounds like it's just regular training.
But Senator Paul Bailey says this bill is to help rural counties that don't have enough school resource officers.
There's over 500 schools, public schools in the state of Tennessee that still do not have a school resource officer. This is just another tool that will allow some of those rural school districts to be able to qualify someone.
Senator Bailey says there are a lot of guardrails in place, including 40 hours of training, a psych evaluation, background check, and a fingerprint. Even though the governor hasn't signed the bill yet, Metro schools, Sumner County and Rutherford County have already publicly stated that they will not be implementing this. Former board member of Metro Schools, Fran Bush, believes this is the right decision.
So we're talking about teachers, we're talking about students, we talk about the superintendents, and none of those parties were really involved in that process. And I just think that they kind of overstepped their boundaries.
Bush explains because the ones impacted were not a part of making this big school safety decision.
And again, the governor still needs to approve and sign off on this bill before these policies can be implemented, and school districts or the local sheriff's office can also choose not to implement these policies in their district. Reporting live from the state capitol, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. Obviously a huge issue, and we want to know what you think. Would you be okay with your child's teacher being armed? A little over 1,000 people have weighed in so far. 71.1% of our viewers who've responded to the poll say yes. That's opposed to just under 29% who say no. This poll is live. If you'd like to cast your vote, just scan the QR code with your phone there on the right-hand side of your screen. It will take you to our X poll. Our handle is @Fox Nashville, and we will update these results for you later in the newscast. Crisis in the Classroom is Fox 17 News' ongoing commitment to expose problems in our schools and to find solutions. If you have a story you'd like to see us cover, send an email to news@fox17.com, or you can phone our tip line at 615-266-4149.
I was drugged and I was made susceptible and literally sold to the highest bidder.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, survivors of human trafficking speaking out tonight as state and local leaders gather today for a community roundtable in partnership with NFL legends. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joining us downtown with what's being done about the cause here locally.
This fall, 85,000 of these kits will be distributed to Tennessee families. Now, what it does is it's really a prevention tool where parents can collect their child's fingerprint as well as saliva. That way, if your child ever goes missing, you could take this kit, run to law enforcement, and it will speed up that investigation process. So let me show you how it works. Once you open it, you get this activation solution. You put your thumb right here, and then you dab it on one of these boxes, And then this right here is where you're going to put your lips to collect that saliva.
Over 350,000 children each year go missing.
Metro and Tennessee leaders join law enforcement and NFL alumni to discuss their mission to combat human trafficking.
25% of all of your trafficking victims are children.
U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn reading off some of those alarming statistics, where she says up to 600 children disappear every single month here in our own state.
Blown away. I wasn't surprised, I was blown away.
Former Tennessee Titan Brad Hopkins says education must become preparation.
Maybe it will be as awakening for people that hear it as it was for me, and then cause people to then take action.
And a trafficking survivor, Donna Hubbard, using her own personal story to raise that awareness.
2 months later, he told me he was a pimp, and now I owed him. And I either had to do what I was told, or they would take one of my children or kill all of us.
Hubbard found herself trapped in the hands of the wrong man for 7 years, leading her down a dark path.
I ended up having to go to prison to get away from my traffickers.
In prison, she worked on rebuilding her life, starting her own nonprofit when she got out. Women at the Well Transition Center quickly became a global initiative.
I've been to all over the world to help rescue women and girls.
And here locally, Director David Roush with the TBI tells me they're increasing resources where it's needed.
We've had some recent effort that's gone into looking at what our resources are, and we now have a great roadmap for Tennessee to go forward in terms of areas in the state that may not have the resources they need to be able to put those resources there.
Roush says Tennessee stands as #1 nationwide in addressing human trafficking.
Now, the human trafficking survivor that you just heard from, she wanted me to spread the message to always be situationally aware. And also, if you see something, say something. That way, police can get that paper trail going for their police reports. Also, if you'd like to see the full press conference from today, we have that on our social media platforms. For now, reporting downtown, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red Station.
Tonight, the school voucher bill may not be Governor Lee's only failure this legislative session. The franchise tax rebate bill that he's pushing is also in danger. House and Senate leaders got together at a conference committee today to iron out differences in their bills. Not exciting, but important. The Senate version calls for 3 years of rebates for businesses totaling $1.5 billion. The House version calls for less than half that. And unlike the Senate, the House wants the list of companies and rebates to be made public.
I realize that there are arguments in the other chamber that that this law would withstand legal challenge. Obviously, our Attorney General and his team disagree with that argument.
Right now, I would say, based upon where we are, that for me personally, I would say that we're at an impasse as it relates to being able to find a solution.
Governor Lee is recommending the state get rid of the property portion of the franchise tax because it has been ruled unconstitutional in some other states.
Meantime, a bill requiring social media companies to verify the age of their account holders and force minors to get parental permission is headed to Governor Lee's desk. The bill puts social media companies on notice and applies to both current and future account holders. In addition to parental consent, the platforms have to provide parents with a way to supervise the account. If companies do not comply, they open themselves up to a lawsuit by Tennessee's Attorney General.
Turning to the weather now, Brent Luna is in for Katie tonight. You're back off of vacation and you brought some great weather that just seems to be getting better by the day.
Well, hey, I'm glad I'm bringing the good weather. It was a great vacation. We had great weather out there. Great weather here today.
Well, tell everybody where you went.
Yeah.
Oh, I went to New Mexico. It was a beautiful time. I've been posting some of the pictures on my Instagram. I'll put some of those up on my Facebook. If,
there you go.
Anybody wants to check them out. Did a little hunting, hiking. Checked out the mountains.
What an outdoorsman you are.
Hey, it was a great time. I loved it. A lot of hiking, though. Very tiring. I probably should have taken today off, too, to just recover, but here we are. So here's a live look over.
You can't say that at your age.
Hey, I don't know. I'm getting there, though. There's a live look over Broadway, 64 degrees. That's our current temperature right here in Nashville. Clear skies for us right now. We're going to stay pretty clear as we head through the rest of the night as well. Not looking at any sort of rain chance. It is all dry out here in the southeastern part of the country. Middle Tennessee, southern Kentucky. No rain for us. Totally dry. This that you're seeing popping up on your screen, that is not rainfall. That's just a little bit of clutter being picked up by the radar. Temperatures in the upper 50s, low to mid 60s depending on where you're at. Some slightly cooler temperatures over here in the east. Upper 50s from Cookeville to Cross Scottsville, down in the McMinnville, 59 there, 57 in Clarksville, and then further west we have 64 in Camden, 63, that's the current temperature down there in Lawrenceburg. Winds were a little bit breezy earlier today too. We had winds gusting into the 20s for some of these spots. Right now though, they have calmed down quite a bit. The highest gust that we're now seeing on the screen is Paris and Camden, both coming in with 10-mile-an-hour recent wind gusts. As we go into the weekend, this weekend looking really nice. I know a lot of outdoor activities going on this weekend. I think we're going to get good weather for that. That rain should hold off. We're going to go back to the 80s with our temperatures too, and then we're talking about some showers early next week. I'll let you know when those arrive here in just a bit.
Thank you, Brett. Still to come tonight, are you one to eat your feelings, drown your sorrows, maybe with chocolate? Well, we've got some tips to curb those cravings.
And the new Hyundai Elantra with America's best warranty. Lease an Elantra for $199 a month or get 3.89% APR or $1,000 bonus cash. Visit your Middle Tennessee Hyundai dealer today.
In your health news tonight, we've all heard of stress eating. Emotional eating is a huge hurdle for so many people that are trying to lose weight.
So true. Fox 17 News' Kelly Avellino tonight talking to experts about how we can quiet the cravings and essentially stay on track for better health.
If you're craving something sweet or salty instead of fresh and healthy, you're not alone.
Our emotions do impact how we eat. That's why they're called comfort foods. Stress, anxiety, sadness, anger, even boredom can trigger these harmful eating habits like overeating, poor food choices.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta says when we have intense feelings like stress, our bodies make hormones that make us want to seek out comfort foods. But he says there are ways to control those cravings.
Find an outlet for your stress. Exercise, nature walks, meditation, time with family and friends.
Dr. Gupta says you can also take a tea break. Sipping tea can also help emotional cravings, or try eating what he calls busy snacks.
That means foods that keep your hands moving, popcorn, vegetables, and a healthy dip.
Dr. Gupta says to pre-portion out your favorite snacks to avoid overeating them. Keep tempting snacks out of reach as well, or just don't buy them at all. And if all else fails, you can talk to your doctor.
No shame in seeking help. If what you're doing isn't working, talk to a professional about your emotions and how they might be impacting your dietary choices.
Kelly Avellino, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Centers for Disease Control says you can still have some comfort foods, just make them a sometimes food. And if you do splurge, they say try a smaller portion or a low-cal option.
In your business news tonight, the Biden administration establishing a new rule that allows more salaried workers to qualify for overtime pay. The Labor Department says starting July 1st, employers will be required to pay overtime to salaried workers who make under $44,000 a year. The department says by the year 2025, that cap will go up to $58,000. And starting in the year 2027, the salary threshold will be updated every 3 years as more wage data is reported. The Labor Department estimates 4 million salaried workers will become eligible for overtime in the first year under this new rule.
In Operation Crime and Justice, 11 Republicans who submitted documents to Congress falsely declaring that Donald Trump beat Joe Biden in Arizona back in the 2020 presidential election were charged today with conspiracy, fraud, and forgery. It is the fourth state where charges have been brought against fake electors. The defendants include the former chair of the Arizona Republican Party, a former U.S. Senate candidate, and 2 sitting state lawmakers there. The indictments also describe an unindicted co-conspirator who is clearly Mr. Trump. President Biden won Arizona by more than 10,000 votes.
All right, we have Brett filling in for Katie tonight, back from vacation and back to the grind.
Back to the grind, and you know, like we were just talking, great weather here today. We had 77 degrees right here in Nashville.
So nice.
I know, it is kind of weird though. I've been up in the mountains for the past 7 days, really haven't had much cell phone service, and now we're back to the big city.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Now you're overstimulated with phone calls and texts
I know, and all these
computer
bright lights.
models, radars,
I know.
TVs.
A lot going on right now. Well, hey, great to be back, though. Here's your live look over Broadway. Really not seeing a whole lot of activity out there on this Wednesday night. Clear skies here in Nashville. We're at 64 degrees overall. Not too bad of a night for us. We are also dry as well. Not seeing any rain right here in Middle Tennessee or up into southern Kentucky. And that's how we're going to stay through the rest of the night. Future Track not able to pick up on any shower activity for the rest of tonight. We're staying mostly clear. We start out tomorrow mostly sunny, but then as the day goes on, more clouds are going to start to move in for us. I'm going to stop it right here at 10 o'clock. This is for 10 o'clock tomorrow night. That's when we're going to start to see some of these showers move in. So late tomorrow night, that rain chance does start to increase. These showers are going to be moving in from the west. Most of this should be fairly light activity, but where you saw those little pockets of yellow, that's just some slightly heavier rainfall amounts. But overall, still not expecting a whole lot of rain with this little round moving through Thursday night through Friday morning. This is 7 o'clock. Most of that rain is going to keep on clearing out. By noon, I think most of us are pretty much rain free. It's just going to be our south central counties and southeastern counties in southern Kentucky, along with our northeastern counties up here in Middle Tennessee that could still be seeing some of those showers for the early part of the afternoon. But most of your Friday is shaping up to be pretty dry. We just had those scattered showers, mostly light for the morning hours of Friday. Then the rest of Friday pretty good. Saturday morning, we're going to start it out dry. I think most of that rain is going to stay off to the northwest of here, and most of us staying all dry for Saturday. Can't rule out just a couple of showers out here in our far western areas. That'll be very light if we can even get any rainfall to develop in those areas. Again, most areas all dry for Saturday. As we head on into Sunday morning, mostly sunny for you on Sunday morning. A few more clouds build in as we head through the rest of the day. I do think we stay dry, though, for the rest of Sunday. A lot of outdoor events going on this weekend, so all of those are looking pretty good right here across Middle Tennessee and into southern Kentucky. Monday morning, this is going to start to change up a little bit. We have some rain that's approaching from the west. That's going to be moving in closer to the Tennessee River by Monday morning, spread further to the east throughout the rest of Monday. We'll get more widespread shower activity. This is Monday afternoon, 5 o'clock. Scattered showers are going to be likely for us on a Monday, and then basically a similar setup for us on Tuesday. Another decent chance for some showers, maybe a few thunderstorms for us on Tuesday. So Monday and Tuesday. The good news, though, Thursday night when that rain moves in, that severe weather threat is staying way to the west of here. And then on Friday when those showers move in, that is also staying way to the west of here as well. Not going to have to deal with any strong storms. 48, the overnight low temperature for tonight. Tomorrow's looking pretty good, too. We'll have temperatures reaching up to the 70s by 5 o'clock. Real quick, Main Street Festival happening this weekend in downtown Franklin. I think the weather for that is going to be really nice, so we're going to be staying rain-free.
I'm Kayla Gaskins. Coming up, we'll unpack a new watchdog report that alleges more than a decade of election meddling by one of America's largest tech companies.
Doctors say catching lung cancer early is very critical to saving lives. We're going to tell you how one small robot could make a huge difference.
Discover, share. Your view, your stories, simplified. Check out what's really happening in Middle Tennessee with a Fox 17 News app.
Ahead.
In politics tonight, a new report from a conservative watchdog group alleges U.S. election interference by one of the nation's largest social media companies.
Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins digging into the report. And by the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this story to weigh in.
In an increasingly digital world, many Americans get their news online, handing immense power to those who control the content users get to see. A newly published study conducted by the conservative watchdog group MRC Free Speech America, tallying up 39 times Facebook interfered with U.S. elections since 2012. We spoke with one of the authors of the report, Dan Schneider.
Basically, 98% of the firepower is directed to conservatives. There are instances where Facebook is taking down liberals, but typically those liberals are either in opposition to Joe Biden, like RFK Jr., or else they're in opposition to Facebook itself.
The first account of meddling goes back to the weeks before the 2012 presidential election. Facebook suspending the account of a veteran-run PAC after the group made posts criticizing the Obama administration for the deaths of 4 Americans in Benghazi.
And so Facebook meddled, and it really should be considered a twofer, trying to help Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton at the same time.
Facebook officials later called the removal an error, not an act of censorship. Other examples trace through the 2016, 2018, 2020 elections to present day. During this time, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg adamantly maintained the company's commitment to free speech.
The ability to speak freely has been central to the fight for democracy worldwide.
Schneider says recently, however, the platform does appear to be censoring much less.
In the last 2 years, we've seen Facebook censor far less than they had in 2020. My hope is that Facebook really is turning over a new leaf. We need improvements out of Facebook. We need to see an actual platform that promotes free speech and allows real, vibrant discussions and debates. That's what American democracy is based on.
We reached out to Meta, and representatives with the tech company said they have no comment on the recent report. In Washington, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code linked up to this poll asking the question, do you believe Facebook is censoring certain political voices? Almost 500 people have weighed in, and most people think yes. 85.5% say yes, 14.5% say no.
Just ahead, targeting obscenity. What a bill, or why a bill making it easier for Tennessee sexting victims to recover financial damages is in danger.
And the sudden unexplained.
Get up to 36 months free financing. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Looking ahead now, progress at Nashville International Airport means more pains for drivers in Donaldson. Airport leaders just shared this map with Fox 17 News today, showing where drivers will be impacted by blasting for construction. The green areas you see here along Donaldson Pike and also out here on Interstate 40 indicate blasting that will be done by the Tennessee Department of Transportation. This red area, which is essentially in and around the airport complex, will be conducted by the airport staff itself.
In your entertainment news, the Nashville community and music industry sharing their memories of award-winning gospel artist Mandisa. A memorial service set to be held this weekend, and the Fisk Jubilee Singers will dedicate a song to her during their commencement in May. Joining us now to talk about Mandisa's legacy is her friend, Dr. Sharnae White. Dr. White, this is all coming as such a sudden loss, and you actually met Mandisa at Fisk well before her career took off.
I did. I was a freshman when she was a sophomore, and we were roommates as Jubilee Singers for 3 years, which was an amazing experience. So, yes.
I'm sure you're still grieving and have a heavy heart. What are your favorite memories of Mandisa? What do you remember most?
Mandisa is the epitome of overcomer, and speaking about her in the past tense is new and very fresh and surreal. But that's what billows in my head is her smile, her tenacious personality, her love for God, and the fact that she insists on everybody that she's in contact with to be an overcomer.
What do you think her lasting legacy will be?
I think her lasting legacy will be her heart for people. My friends and I have been laughing all day as we prepare for the weekend about how we all thought we were her best friends. And so we were wondering what number we were with that. She made the world feel as if it was her best friend. And it didn't matter if it was a person or a pet or her band or the community. She just loved God. She loved people. And I believe that her legacy is going to resonate in everybody overcoming whatever they're going through in life.
Wow, what a special tribute there, and a lot of events to look forward to this weekend. Dr. White, do you have any of your memories? Do you remember the last time that you spoke with her or last time you saw her?
It's been a minute. Maybe within the past year, we lost our director, Dr. Paul T. Kwame, who was the director while we were there, as well as currently up until the last 2 years ago. And so I have seen her in concert, but she didn't come to Atlanta or anywhere unless she was going to make sure that her closest friends and family had tickets on will call. And so I have been able to do that over the last 2 decades, and it has just been an amazing experience each and every time. So.
Well, I know this weekend you all will be able to remember her with a beautiful tribute. Dr. White, thank you so much for taking some time to share your precious memories of Mandisa. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
An update now on a bill that would make it easier for victims of sexting and similar crimes in Tennessee to sue the people responsible for financial damages. State House and Senate passed slightly different bills. Both allow victims to seek actual and punitive damages from those who either produce or share obscene materials. The rub is this: one bill says producing the material is enough to open that door. The other says you have to be convicted of creating or distributing obscene material. The House sponsor says it's needed because local DAs are reluctant to prosecute these cases.
This has been an issue that has become more and more prevalent among the citizens and the voters in Tennessee, that they want to see something done on this.
A conference committee today adjourned with no agreement, and if lawmakers cannot get it together in the next few days, this bill could be dead for this year.
Well, earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll asking, would you be okay with your child's teacher going armed? And we've had 1,124 votes come in. A lot of people having an opinion on this. 70.7% say yes, they'd be okay with it. And 29.3% say no. We'll have another update on these numbers for you tonight on Fox 17 News at 10. Each night, look for a brand new X poll that you can participate in.
Today was a really good day for us. We had highs go to the upper 70s earlier this afternoon. I do think tomorrow, though, we are going to be a little bit cooler. We're going to start it out mostly sunny, and then we're going to get more cloud cover as we head through the rest of the day. So 74 degrees, the high temperature I'm going with for tomorrow. Overall, pretty nice. I think we're going to stay dry for most of the day. We could see a few showers move in, but that's not really going to happen until very late Thursday night on into Friday morning. So for most of the day on Thursday, we'll be all dry. Not going to put a rain chance there. Friday, a 30% chance for showers. Most of that comes for the morning hours, too. Most of these rain showers are Friday morning. Friday through the rest of the day, I think we should be clearing out pretty good. That's going to leave us with a good weekend. Saturday, Sunday, not expecting much of a rain chance at all. Our temperatures are going to start to go back up then, too, for the most part. Monday, Tuesday, things begin to change up a little bit. We do start to bring in a slightly better chance for some showers for the start of this upcoming week. A 50% chance for showers Monday and Tuesday. As far as our temperatures go, we're going back to the 80s starting on Friday. Lower 80s, then Saturday, Sunday, low to mid 80s. We're going to drop down just a little bit Monday and Tuesday, but we'll keep it in the lower 80s and then the mid 80s for us on Wednesday. The following week looking warmer, good chance of warmer than normal temperatures. That's May 2nd to May 8th. So if you're wanting to start your outdoor garden, I think it's pretty safe to go ahead and do that. The following week looking warm, this upcoming week looking warm. And then as far as the rain chance goes for that same week, May 2nd through May 8th, I think we're looking at a better chance for drier than normal conditions as well.
Thanks, Brett. Setting the draft board, how the Titans rank the top college football talent in round one.
And grind
7,000 quality checks in the typical hour.
They really take pride in what they do.
Like us.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
This time tomorrow night, the NFL draft will be well underway, and we should know who the Titans select with their very first pick.
Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick has more on how the team has been preparing and why they're being flexible with their game plan.
NFL draft less than 24 hours away, and the Tennessee Titans say for all intensive purposes, their draft board is done. General Manager Ran Carthon saying they first stacked the board vertically based off of player talent and then horizontally with those same players, but with other varying factors. Now, just because the board is done doesn't mean things will change on draft night. Both Carthon and head coach Brian Callahan saying they are listening to all options, other teams, and will continue to do so throughout the weekend and always make sure they have the best interest of the team in mind.
People are nosy, and I think we owe it, to our organization. I owe it to Coach Callahan and his staff to, listen to all calls, no matter where they fall, just to see if it's anything enticing. If it's anything that's going to, blow us away to make us really want to, trade back. But we're just listening at this point.
Sometimes you can't project it. You don't know that that's what's going to happen. But I think there's enough good players the odds are in the favor that there's going to be some guys that can play that aren't getting picked in the top 25 picks. There's some depth of the class, and there's some good players that aren't going to go in the first round that'll probably play meaningful football for a lot of teams.
The biggest area of need for the Titans going into the draft is offensive line, specifically that left tackle position. But General Manager Rand Carthon also said they're looking for blue chips. A blue chip is a player that can start right away, a plug-and-play kind of player. Of course, they're looking for that in their offensive linemen, but they're also looking for blue chips all throughout the weekend. First round of the draft starts 7 p.m. on Thursday night, and as always, Fox 17 will have you covered. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jelinek, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Turning to hockey now, the Preds evened their first-round series against the Vancouver Canucks last night, winning Game 2 4-1. Now, judging by the score, you might think the Preds had an easy time on offense. It was actually quite the opposite. Despite scoring 4 goals, the Preds only had 16 shots on goal, the lowest shot total in a playoff win in franchise history. Now, usually when you have so few shots on goal, it's hard to win a game, but the Preds made their shots count.
It's going to be muddy. Game 1 was the same thing. It's a muddy game, and they do a good job in defending and in-your-face kind of hockey. And we're going to have shifts. We're going to have time in our own zone. It's not going to be perfect.
That's the level that we needed to raise from Game 1. And that's what we talked about. So probably spent a lot of time in our zone, but it doesn't have to be pretty at this time of the year.
Well, the series now comes back to Smashville. Game 3 set for Friday night downtown at the big building on Broadway, Bridgestone Arena. The puck will drop at 6:30.
Well, good news, all you football fans. The Cats are back. After a 16-year hiatus, the Nashville Cats will kick off the 2024 arena football season this Saturday. The team first played in 1998 through 2001, and then its most recent stint was 2005 through 2007. The AFL filed for bankruptcy in 2019 after 3 decades, but then announced that it will be returning last summer.
This game's different. It's about, it's a lot different, but it's entertainment. It clearly is entertainment. So we hope anybody that comes in there, when they leave with that smile, that brings them back the next time.
This Saturday's game is one of 5 home games for the Cats at Municipal Auditorium. Kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. against the Minnesota Myth.
And we're not really seeing any rain right now on the radar. We could see a few showers move in very late tomorrow night, but this weekend shaping up to be a really good one for you. We'll talk about that in just a bit.
The Supreme Court set to decide.
They knew what to do, and they helped me and my family, and we're really grateful.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Looking ahead, for the first time in history, the U.S. Supreme Court will weigh in on whether a former president can be indicted for actions taken during their time in office.
Well, the justices will hear oral arguments tomorrow about former President Trump's claim that he cannot face prosecution for his actions on and leading up to January 6th. Fox 17 News' Atra El-Nashar has more.
Former President Trump bringing his untested legal claim to the Supreme Court that all presidents must have complete and total presidential immunity, or the authority and decisiveness of a president of the United States will be stripped and gone forever. According to special counsel Jack Smith, Trump's actions toward the end of his presidency amount to conspiracy to defraud the United States, obstruction and conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy to prevent others from carrying out their constitutional rights.
The president has a unique constitutional role, but he is not above the law.
Trump's lawyers say a president can only be prosecuted if Congress indicts and convicts him.
To authorize the prosecution of a president for his official acts would open a Pandora's box from which this nation may never recover.
The top Republican in the Senate said quite the opposite after the impeachment trial in February 2021, shortly after Trump left office.
Impeachment was never meant to be the final forum for American justice. President Trump is still liable for everything he did while he was in office.
The lower courts rejected Trump's argument, and many legal scholars expect the Supreme Court to do the same. But the justices could go further.
Instead of asking if presidents have absolute immunity from prosecution, they're now asking whether and to what extent. It's likely that the court will use this case to carve out a broader precedent.
When the court releases its decision is almost as crucial as the decision itself.
It's very likely we wouldn't see a decision until the very end of the term, think the end of June. And so if the court was to send it back down to a lower court, it's highly unlikely that we would see a trial before the November election.
If the Supreme Court dismisses Trump's immunity claim and does not send it back to the lower courts, the special counsel's team could get their case back up and running right away. But even then, they'd be pressed for time to get their case in front of a jury before Americans vote in November. In Washington, I'm Atrell Nashar.
Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9, an issue putting all of our safety at risk. Violent criminals released on low or even no bond, some of them going right back out on the streets to commit even worse crimes. Anton Rucker, for example, a man with a long and violent criminal history out on bond in Rutherford County, is accused of opening fire in a busy Nashville restaurant on Easter Sunday. One person died in the gunfire. Experts say that this is just one of many examples happening right here in Tennessee.
He was a felon. He was carrying a weapon. He had a long criminal history. Why are we letting him back out on the street? Because that's his job. His job is violence, addiction, chaos, and victimization. That's his job.
Thursday night, Dennis Ferrier begins to paint a startling picture with example after example of how the system is failing public safety in Middle Tennessee. Our Fox 17 News investigation starts Thursday at 9.
Well, today was a really good day for us, and I think tomorrow is going to be pretty good. It is going to get a little bit more cloudy, especially as we hit tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures, though, not going to be too far off from normal, maybe just a couple of degrees below normal or so. Here's your live look over Broadway. Overall, a very calm and quiet night for us on Broadway. Not seeing a whole lot of action going on out there on this Wednesday night. Temperatures, though, if you are outdoors for any sort of outdoor plans late tonight for whatever reason, not too bad. 64 right now. We are clear, too, and I think we're going to stay clear through the rest of the night. Not looking at much cloud cover. Radar not able to pick up on any rain anywhere close to us either. We are all dry across the southeastern part of the country. As far as any rain for us for the next couple of days goes, right here in Nashville, or Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, not looking at any for tonight. We're going to stay mostly clear. Start out tomorrow with plenty of sunshine too. But as the day goes on tomorrow, more clouds are going to start to build in, and that rain chance is going to start to increase, but not until late tomorrow night. This is Thursday. Tomorrow night at 10 p.m., some of those showers pushing in past a little bit to the east of Interstate 65. Those are going to keep on spreading to the east as we head throughout the rest of the night on into early Friday morning. And most of this rain should be just some fairly light rain showers, but we could see a couple of pockets with some more moderate rainfall. 7 o'clock Friday morning, most of this rain has shifted east of Interstate 65, and then by about noon, 1 o'clock, I think most all of us are going to be pretty dry here in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky. We could still see a few light showers right up here in our very far southeastern counties in Southern Kentucky and our northeastern counties in Middle Tennessee by mid-afternoon on Friday. But overall, most of the rain is going to come through for us on late Thursday night into Friday morning. Most of Friday looking pretty good for you. Saturday, 5 o'clock, right there, 7 o'clock in the morning. We are dry to start out Saturday. We're going to stay dry for the rest of Saturday too. The only exception could be a few very light showers that develop right up there in our far northwestern areas. Otherwise, though, nearly all dry for everybody else. Sunday morning, more of the same, starting it out mostly sunny. A few more clouds built in Sunday afternoon, partly cloudy Sunday afternoon. We're going to stay that way for Sunday night. And then we start to increase our rain chance, but that's going to come in on a Monday. That's Monday morning, 7 o'clock. These showers, a few storms right there around the Tennessee River. That'll keep on sliding to the east, getting a little bit more widespread. Monday, 5 p.m., more showers pushing in closer to Interstate 65 and east of that. The good news is not going to have to deal with any sort of severe weather threat Thursday night. That threat is staying way to the west of us. Similar story for us on a Friday, too. If you have any outdoor plans this weekend, it is looking really good. 83 on Saturday, 85 the high temperature on Sunday. Generally should be staying totally dry. Monday, Tuesday, a better chance for some showers, a few thunderstorms possible too. High temperatures in the lower 80s to start out early next week.
Thank you, Brett. A controversial abortion law in Arizona now coming under fire from state lawmakers.
Everyone. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
New tonight, Franklin City leaders vote to increase police officer pay to keep officers from leaving and to attract new applicants. It is a problem across the state. Starting officers in Franklin with no previous experience will now start out at $60,000 a year. Those who are already post-certified will get $65,000 a year to start. All the other existing officers will get a 3% pay hike. Only 10% of officers across the region earn more than those in Franklin.
Well, new tonight, the near total abortion ban in Arizona has been repealed by lawmakers in the Arizona House. 3 Republicans joined all Democrats in the state House to pass the repeal of the law dating back to 1864, which provides no exceptions for rape or incest. Republicans blocked earlier repeal attempts. A bill is the key issue in the swing state ahead of the November election. The measure now goes to the Arizona State Senate, where its fate is uncertain.
Just had a big decision and a big reprieve for some prison inmates. Who in Tennessee is having their...
It's all the best part. I don't know where to begin.
Toby, eat your breakfast.
Maybe I just smell it.
The best part of Wendy's new breakfast Cinnabon pull-apart is all the parts.
New tonight, President Biden grants executive clemency to 16 people, including 3 here in Tennessee. They include Xavier Martinez Parnell of Clarksville. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison for drug possession with intent to distribute. Mr. Biden reduced his sentence to 17.5 years to be followed by 10 years of supervised release. The others from Tennessee were also doing time for drug charges.
The Speaker of the House visits Columbia University as the anti-Israel protests on college campuses spread across the country. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the story coming up.
Many of us know that fitness can help prevent health problems, but what about healing after an illness? I'm Liz Bonus. We meet a breast cancer survivor who says her routine has made all the difference. It is just ahead.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
And I think we've forgotten to listen to them. And then not only teachers, but parents.
There's a lot of misrepresentation about this legislation.
Tennesseans reacting as a new bill to allow teachers to carry a gun on campus is sitting on the governor's desk.
Now, if he signs it, it becomes law in our state. But some Middle Tennessee school districts are already lining up saying we are opting out. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller live downtown near the Capitol after speaking with people from different school districts, I should say, about this bill.
Yes, some people believe that our state leaders are not actually listening to Tennesseans, especially those impacted the most, like teachers, students, and parents. But others believe that this policy will help the 500-plus public schools that currently do not have school resource officers. Now, today we spoke with Bill West, a retired SRO and former president of the National Association of School Resource Officers. He's now the safety director of Cannon County Schools and does not think having teachers carrying firearms on campus is a good thing. He's concerned with the training and how a teacher would leave 20 to 30 students behind to go after a gunman. But Senator Paul Bailey says the point of the bill is to help rural counties that don't have enough school resource officers. So it's giving them an extra set of hands if needed.
There's over 500 schools, public schools in the state of Tennessee that still do not have a school resource officer. This is just another tool that will allow some of those rural school districts to be able to qualify someone.
The training is what concerns me. So far, I really haven't seen anything that they would be required to be on the gun range regularly. It sounds like it's just regular training.
Senator Bailey says there are a lot of guardrails in place, including 40 hours of training, a psych evaluation, background check, and fingerprint. Now, tonight we're learning that Vice President Kamala Harris is chiming in on this, and she's saying that arming teachers is not the solution. She then adds what actually works is universal background checks, red flag laws, safe storage, and assault weapon bans. And again, the Governor Lee still has to sign off and approve this bill for these policies to take take place in Tennessee. Reporting live from the state capitol, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Our X poll tonight asking if you would be okay with your child's teacher being armed. 1,157 votes on this. 70.4% say yes, you're okay with your child's teacher being armed, compared to 29.6% that say no. Each night, look for a brand new poll on our X page that you can participate in.
New tonight, fire destroys a home in Montgomery County tonight. This video just in from Clarksville. You can see the dramatic video here from Dash 10 Media. The house sustaining some major damage with the fire leaving only a shell of this house here in North Clarksville. These pictures taken just after 6 o'clock tonight. Clarksville police tell Fox 17 News that all of the occupants in that house got out safely.
And I either had to do what I was told, or they would take one of my children or kill all of us.
Now to Operation Crime and Justice, human trafficking survivors and NFL alumni working with city and state leaders to combat the exploitation. In a news conference today, U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn says 25% of trafficking victims are children, and statewide up to 600 kids disappear every single month. Tonight, a trafficking survivor who was stuck in a 7-year-long cycle is helping other children and women going through the same thing.
I didn't want another girl or another woman to have to go through what I went through, so I started Women at the Well Transition Center, and I work with women and girls who have either been incarcerated and trafficked to help them rebuild their lives, their dignity, and regain their families.
And today, state leaders announced 85,000 kits will be passed out to Tennessee families this fall. These are prevention tools where parents can collect their child's DNA samples through fingerprints and saliva in the event their child goes missing. This would help law enforcement in their investigation.
An update now on efforts to make it easier for victims of sexting and other similar crimes to sue the people responsible for damages. The State House and Senate both passed bills that would allow victims and their families to sue those who produce and or share obscene materials. Both bills would allow victims to recover financial damages along with attorney fees and court costs. But lawmakers are split tonight on whether the act is enough to trigger a lawsuit or if the person has to be convicted.
One of the points of bringing this bill to begin with was to put the power back into the citizenry, to give them the ability to be able to protect themselves when they do find themselves in that situation where a district attorney is not so inclined to pursue these types of cases.
Conference committee today adjourned with no compromise. If members can't get together on this bill could be dead for the session.
And making local headlines tonight, business software giant Oracle is establishing its world headquarters right here in Music City. Oracle CEO Larry Ellison says that it chose Nashville because it's already a hub for the U.S. healthcare industry. An expansive campus is planned for Oracle on the Cumberland riverfront, which Ellison says will include a community clinic, concert venue, hotel, and restaurant. In response to the announcement, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee posting this on social media saying, "Welcome home, Oracle. We're proud that this trusted company has picked the Volunteer State as its new world headquarters. Great news for job creation and economic growth across Tennessee."
We had a good day here in Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky earlier today, and tonight's not looking too bad for us either. Temperatures are going to stay a little cool, but overall not too far off from normal, maybe even slightly above that too. Here's your live look over Broadway. A little bit of a crowd out there, but overall not a whole lot going on Broadway right now. 62 degrees right here in Nashville. We are down a little bit from about 30 minutes ago or so. Clear skies for us right now. We are going to stay clear as we go through the rest of the night. Also dry. No rain anywhere close to us right now. It is all dry. Radar not able to pick up on any of that anywhere close to us right here. Temperatures right now are in the 50s and lower 60s depending on where you're at. 56 Cookeville, 57 Crossville, a few of the cooler spots on the map. 61 in Camden, 59 Linden. We're at 63 in Lewisburg, 63 also in Murfreesboro. Winds were a little bit breezy earlier today. Those have calmed down quite a bit now. Not seeing many high wind gusts at all across Middle Tennessee or Southern Kentucky. The weekend shaping up to be a really good one. A lot of outdoor events going on this weekend. I think those are all looking really good for you. We'll have temperatures going back to the 80s as well, and then we'll be talking about some showers moving in early next week. I'll have the timing on that coming up here in just a bit.
Tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9, an issue putting your safety at risk. Violent criminals released on either low or no bond. Some of them get out and commit even worse crimes. Anton Rucker, case in point. Man with a long violent criminal history, free on bond from Rutherford County, is then charged with opening fire at a busy Nashville restaurant on Easter Sunday. One person was killed, and experts say this is just one example of many.
He was a felon. He was carrying a weapon. He had a long criminal history. Why are we letting him back out on the street? Because that's his job. His job is violence, addiction, chaos, and victimization. That's his job.
Tomorrow on Fox 17 News at 9, our Dennis Ferrier paints a startling picture with example after example of the justice system failing to keep Middle Tennesseans safe.
The Speaker of the House visits Columbia University.
And stay safe. Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
Well, new tonight, hundreds more protesters are arrested in New York City today as pro-Palestine demonstrations continue at college campuses around the country.
As Fox 17 News' Matt Galka shows us, some are now calling these protests anti-Semitic, while others press for Columbia University's president to resign.
Israel-Palestine protests sweeping across the country at the University of Texas in Austin and on the West Coast at USC. The demonstrations attracted high levels of attention from Washington as the Speaker of the House visited Columbia University.
To all those who gnash their teeth and demand to wipe the state of Israel off the map and attack our innocent Jewish students, this simple truth: neither Israel nor these Jewish students on this campus will ever stand alone. Enjoy your free speech.
Congresswoman Elise Stefanik called on Columbia University's president to resign and told the Biden administration to deport students at the school on visas who are supporting Hamas. Protesters flooded the streets of Brooklyn, a block away from Senator Chuck Schumer's home Tuesday night. They blocked traffic as they slammed the passing of a foreign aid bill that would provide military assistance to Israel in its war against Hamas.
I've always had 4 goals in terms of Israel policy. 1, radically reduce the presence of Hamas. You can't have peace with Hamas. Free the hostages, get as much humanitarian aid possible as done, and do everything you can to avoid civilian casualties.
More lawmakers are getting involved over the pro-Palestine protests that have been peppered with anti-Semitic harassment. Liberal Congressional Squad member Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez posted on social media condemning police action against nonviolent demonstrations. For some Jewish students and professors on campuses where the protests are taking place, they see a double standard on what's being tolerated.
If I went into the NYU square with a white hood on and said, lynch the blacks or burn the gays, my ID would be shut off by that night, and I would never work in academia again. It seems like we have a double standard when it comes to hate speech as long as it's against Jews.
Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant posted on social media that the protests were not only anti-Semitic, but they were supporting terrorism. He urged American officials to act now and protect Jewish youth. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Galka.
Well, setting the draft board, how the Titans are ranking the top talent in round 1.
We could APR financing as low as 2.25% or a great low lease.
Toyota, let's go places.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
This time tomorrow night, the NFL draft will be underway. We should at this time know who the Titans choose with the number 7th overall pick in the first round.
Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick has more on how the team has been preparing and why they're being flexible with their game plan.
NFL draft less than 24 hours away, and the Tennessee Titans say for all intensive purposes, their draft board is done. General Manager Ran Carthon saying they first stack the board vertically based off of player talent and then horizontally with those same players, but with other varying factors. Now, just because the board is done doesn't mean things will change on draft night. Both Carthon and head coach Brian Callahan saying they are listening to all options, other teams, and will continue to do so throughout the weekend and always make sure they have the best interest of the team in mind.
People are nosy, and I think we owe it,
to our organization. I owe it to Coach Callahan and his staff to, listen to all calls, no matter where they fall, just to see if it's anything enticing, if it's anything that's going to, blow us away to make us really want to, trade back. But we're just listening at this point.
Sometimes you can't project it. You don't know that that's what's going to happen. But I think there's enough good players the odds are in the favor that there's going to be some guys that can play that aren't getting picked in the top 25 picks. There's some depth of the class, and there's some good players that aren't going to go in the first round that'll probably play meaningful football for a lot of teams.
The biggest area of need for the Titans going into the draft is offensive line, specifically that left tackle position. But General Manager Rand Carthon also said they're looking for blue chips. A blue chip is a player that can start right away, a plug-and-play kind of player. And of course, they're looking for that in their offensive linemen, but they're also looking for blue chips all throughout the weekend. First round of the draft starts 7 p.m. on Thursday night. And as always, Fox 17 will have you covered. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jolnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
To hockey now, the Nashville Predators evened their first round series against the Vancouver Canucks last night on the road, winning Game 2 4-1. The score might suggest the Preds were hot offensively. They weren't. They scored those 4 goals on just 16 shots on goal, the lowest shot total in a playoff win in franchise history. Preds didn't get many shots on goal. They certainly made the most of the ones they had.
It's going to be muddy. Game 1 was the same thing. It's a muddy game, and they do a good job in defending and in-your-face kind of hockey. And we're going to have shifts. We're going to have time in our own zone. It's not going to be perfect.
That's the level that we needed to raise from Game 1, and that's what we talked about. So probably spent a lot of time in our zone, but it doesn't have to be pretty at this time of the year.
Well, the series now moves back to Smashville. Game 3 on Friday night when the puck drops at 6:30.
Well, good news, football fans. The Cats are back after a 16-year hiatus. The Nashville Cats will kick off the 2024 Arena football season this Saturday. The team first played from '98 to 2001, and then its most recent stint ran 2005 through 2007. The AFL filed for bankruptcy in 2019 after 3 decades, but then announced that it was returning last summer.
This game's different. It's about, it's a lot different, but it's entertainment. It clearly is entertainment. So we hope anybody that comes in there, when they leave with that smile, that brings them back the next time.
Well, this Saturday's game is one of 5 home games for the Cats at Municipal Auditorium. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. against the Minnesota Myth.
Really nice weather across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky earlier today. We were able to get a high temperature of 77 degrees right here in Nashville. That put us just a couple of degrees above normal for this time of year. Tomorrow, I think we might drop down from that just a little bit. Overall, though, tomorrow is still going to be a pretty good day for us. High temperatures falling down to around the mid-70s or so, just about a degree below normal. A live look over Broadway, still seeing a little bit of a crowd out there. Overall, though, not a whole lot going on tonight. Beautiful weather, though, if you do have any outdoor plans late tonight. 62 degrees, that's our current temperature right here in Nashville. We are clear, not much cloud cover. I think that's how we're going to stay too for the rest of the day. Radar not showing any rain right here in our area either. We are all dry right now, and I think we keep it dry for the rest of the night. We're going to stop Future Track. This is 10 o'clock on Thursday night. Some showers are going to start to move in from the west. A lot of areas along and west of Interstate 65 will see a better chance for some of those showers. Also moving down here into our southeastern areas too. That's Thursday night. These showers are going to continue to spread east. Most of this rainfall shouldn't be too heavy, but where we saw those pockets of yellow, we could see a little bit of moderate rainfall with some of this rain that's moving through overnight into Friday morning. Most of this rain, though, is going to clear on out of here by early Friday afternoon. This is the noon picture Friday afternoon, just our northeastern areas with that better chance for a few scattered showers by that point. And then we are looking drier for the rest of the day. So overall, most areas with a better chance for some showers in the morning on Friday. So if you have any plans later on in the day on Friday, I think you're looking pretty good for those. Saturday morning, we're off to a pretty dry start, not looking at much of a rain chance. I think most of the area will stay dry as we head through the rest of Saturday. If we get any rain on Saturday, I think the best chance is just up here in our far northwestern counties, and we could just see a couple of light showers there. But overall, nearly all of us are going to be staying dry for Saturday if you have any plans this weekend. Sunday morning, we start out dry. We start out with more sunshine too, partly cloudy skies as we head through the rest of Sunday. We will stay dry on Sunday, though I don't think many of us get any sort of rain chance on Sunday, but Monday that does start to change. Monday morning, some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms too are going to be closing in closer to the Tennessee River. That'll keep on sliding east through the rest of Monday. Monday by 5 p.m., we're looking at some fairly widespread shower activity, especially along and to the west of Interstate 65. The good news, though, really no severe weather expected with any of this. Tuesday, we could still see another round of showers as well. So Thursday night, that severe weather threat, it's going to be staying well to the west of us. Not going to have to deal with any severe weather threat then. And then when that round of rain is moving through on Friday morning, that is also not going to be severe, maybe only a few thunderstorms. That severe weather threat is staying west of the Mississippi River, so all in the clear on that. 48 degrees, your overnight low tonight, mostly clear skies, winds out of the north at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow's shaping up to be a really nice day for you too. Upper 40s by 7 a.m. By noon, we're near 70. Then by 5 o'clock, we'll be in the mid 70s. Starting it out mostly sunny. More clouds move in, and overall, though, a fairly nice day for you. Not looking at much of a rain chance until we hit very late tomorrow night. Plans this weekend outdoors looking really good. Low to mid 80s, partly cloudy, a little bit breezy though, and I think we're going to stay dry this weekend. We do have that rain chance that returns for Monday, a 50% chance for showers, a few thunderstorms on Monday. We're going to stay that way for Tuesday. Lower 80s on a Monday and Tuesday, and then by Wednesday, I think we get plenty of sunshine. We're going to stay dry.
Have rooms to go.
Get severe storm warnings for your area. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Preds.
In your health news tonight, new data shows people are losing confidence in health institutions.
As Fox 17 News' Janae Bowens reports, they are trusting themselves, their family, their friends more and more when it comes to making health decisions.
Lamont Mitchell was diagnosed with stage 3 prostate cancer.
I studied 2 or 3 hours every day on prostate cancer, what the treatments are, what happens when you do this, how's the side effects.
He learned as much as he could and worked with doctors.
But it can be dangerous if you're the only person you're listening to.
But not everyone agrees. The new Global Edelman Trust Barometer survey shows fears about the politicization of medical science has increased by 13 points in the past year to 64%.
We're seeing less trust in institutions such as scientific and health agencies.
Dr. Anand Parekh, chief medical advisor for the Bipartisan Policy Center, says it's good to see 2 in 3 people feeling confident making decisions about their health, sorting out bad health info from good, and raising concerns with their doctors. But he admits the back and forth about how to respond to COVID-19 has led some people to be more skeptical of major institutions.
I think we need to more clearly describe what we know and what we don't know, and be honest with the American public in terms of that. And so I am concerned that the next time there'll be less people tuning in. There really shouldn't be, anything, frankly, political about this. This should be about science and your health.
Mitchell agrees, and with the help of his medical team, he's beating cancer and finished his treatments last month. He has this advice for everyone.
Become a partner in their health care, but not the sole partner.
The survey revealed overall people have a great amount of trust in their doctor's advice, but some say they wouldn't trust their doctor or would get rid of them if they didn't have the same political or social views. I'm Janae Bowens reporting.
Many of us know that fitness can help prevent health problems, but what about healing after an illness? I'm Liz Bonus. We meet at breast
serious accidents. If you've been injured, ask around. I'll bet someone you trust will tell you, get Hughes and Coleman and get it done. Call 800-800-4600.
In health news tonight, your personal prescription to managing a health problem could be a trip to the gym.
Well, Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus explains why doctors are now recommending many patients fight back with fitness.
Hey there, everybody. Fitness programs have long been used for preventing health problems. Now a young breast cancer survivor sharing what's also supported by science, how it helps in healing.
I just felt a lump in the shower one day.
That lump for Cindy Oliver put her on a long road to recovery for an aggressive form of breast cancer,
which is triple negative breast cancer.
After surgery and treatment, Cindy, who was just 37 at the time of diagnosis, was told her body was cancer-free. But due to the after effects, her breast surgeon referred her here to Ohio's Activate Brain and Body.
But I did notice I was suffering from what they call chemo brain, like the brain fog, and my memory just wasn't as sharp.
Activate is one of the first fitness facilities in the country to design sports medicine programs that pair a physical workout with a brain workout at the same time.
In the simple gist of it, you have to elevate the heart rate, a lot of magical things happen in the brain, and then from that point, you have to challenge your brain in a new way.
Adam Ortman, the chief exercise science officer here, says he sees evidence every day that backs up what a recent study by the National Institutes of Health also shows. This type of workout can not only keep an illness from coming back or getting worse.
I need to do these types of exercises for risk, or to reduce risk of recurrence.
But it can also help those such as Cindy realize that while they can't change a tough diagnosis,
But there are things that you can do, and the earlier you start, the better it's going to be long term.
for Cindy, that's been life-changing.
The physical, the cognitive, the social, it is all helping me to reduce that risk of recurrence, which I still think about.
Now, for ideal results, you do usually need to work the body and the brain about 6 to 12 months. Group sessions, as opposed to one-on-one training, can help control the cost for these. We do have more information online. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
All right, let's talk about breakfast weather from the man who does all the exercise among the three of us.
Well, hey, breakfast is looking pretty good for tomorrow.